You know, there's a very subtle difference between the folks I see who are enjoying their later years with total freedom and those who find their world shrinking bit by bit. It usually isn't about who has the better genetics, and it's rarely about who has the fewer aches and pains. The real difference often comes down to something most of us take for granted until it starts to slip away. It is the quiet, underlying reliability of your legs. I want you to think about the last time you stood up from a deep sofa or got out of a low car. Did you have to think about it? Did you have to plan your movement, maybe push off with your hands, or make a little noise as you rose? If you did, that is your body trying to tell you something. It's not telling you that you're old. It's telling you that your engine is asking for a tune-up. You see, after we cross the threshold of 60, our bodies undergo a very specific change. It is a biological process where we start to lose muscle tissue a little bit faster than we replace it. It happens silently, often while you feel perfectly healthy. You might notice that stairs feel a little steeper, or you hesitate for just a split second before stepping off a curb to cross the street. These aren't failures. They are simply signals. In the medical field, we have a name for this natural decline in muscle density, but the name matters less than what it does to your confidence. When muscle reserves drop, your stability drops with them. And when stability wavers, we naturally start moving less to stay safe. It becomes a cycle. But here is the thing that I wish more people understood: this process is not a one-way street. It is entirely possible to slow it down, stop it, and in many cases, actually reverse it, regardless of the birthday you celebrated last. And the most interesting part, you don't need a gym membership, and you certainly don't need to start training like an athlete. The solution is often much simpler and closer to home than you might think. Now, before we get to the practical side of things, I need to clear up a very common misunderstanding, one that I see causing frustration for so many well-intentioned people. You have probably been told that to stay healthy, you need to walk. You need to get your steps in. And let me be clear, walking is wonderful. It is fantastic for your heart, your lungs, and your mood. But walking is a maintenance activity, not a building activity. Walking tells your body that you want to have endurance, but it doesn't necessarily tell your muscles that they need to get stronger or more powerful. There was actually some fascinating research looking at folks in their 70s who walked every single day. They had great heart health, but their leg strength was still declining. Why? Because muscle tissue requires a specific kind of signal to grow. It needs resistance. It needs to be challenged just a little bit beyond its comfort zone. When you are just walking on flat ground, your body is efficient. It uses the least amount of muscle possible. To regain that confident, sturdy feeling, we have to wake those muscles up in a different way. This is about preserving your independence. It's about the ability to navigate your own home, to travel without worry, and to trust your body to catch you if you stumble. The good news is that we can trigger this strength response safely right from the comfort of a sturdy chair. I want to share a routine with you that focuses on the 5 specific pillars of leg stability. These aren't just random movements. They are designed to target the exact muscles that keep you upright and moving. We are going to move through them together, from number 5 down to number 1, and I suspect the final one might change how you think about exercise entirely. Let's start with number 5, which focuses on the front of the thigh. This is your body's primary lifting mechanism. Think of your thigh muscles, the quadriceps, as your natural shock absorbers. Every time you take a step, every time you go down a staircase, these muscles take the load so your knees don't have to. When these muscles get a little tired or weak, your knees start to complain, and standing up requires momentum rather than strength. To address this, we use a movement called a seated knee extension. It looks deceptively simple, but the magic is in the timing. You sit tall in your chair, holding the sides for support, and you slowly straighten one leg out in front of you until the knee is straight. Now, here is where most people miss the benefit. They let the leg drop back down quickly. The strengthening doesn't happen on the way up, it happens on the way down. I want you to lift that leg for a count of 2, hold it there for a moment, and then take a full 3 or 4 seconds to lower it back to the floor. That slow, controlled lowering is what we call an eccentric movement, and it is the gold standard for rebuilding muscle tissue safely. It teaches your thigh muscle to control the weight of your leg against gravity. Imagine you are moving through water. By doing this just 8 to 10 times on each leg, you aren't just kicking your foot, you are bulletproofing your knees and making your next flight of stairs feel significantly easier. Moving on to number 4, we need to talk about the unsung heroes of your balance, your calves. We often think of calf muscles as something only runners worry about, but for us, they serve a vital safety function. Your calves are essentially your body's brake system and gyroscope. If you are standing in the kitchen and you lean a little too far forward, or if you get bumped in a crowd, it is your calf muscles that instantly contract to push your toes down and push you back to center. If they are sleepy or weak, that reaction time slows down, and that is when falls happen. To wake them up, we use seated heel raises. Sit with your feet flat on the floor, about hip width apart. Keep your toes grounded and lift your heels as high as they will go, like you are standing on your tiptoes while sitting. Pause at the top and feel that squeeze in the back of your lower leg. Then, just like before, lower them down slowly. It's a small movement, barely a few inches, but it strengthens the connection between your brain and your ankles. When your ankles are strong, your foundation is solid. This is the movement that helps you walk confidently on uneven surfaces like a gravel path or a thick carpet. It gives you that sturdy base of support. Now, let's look at number 3. This one is about coordination and clearing the floor. One of the most common reasons for stumbling isn't slipping, it's catching a toe. As we get older, we have a tendency to shuffle a little more, lifting our feet just barely enough to clear the ground. This happens because the hip flexors, the muscles that lift the thigh, get tight and weak from all the time we spend sitting. We are going to counteract that with a seated march. Sit upright, don't lean back against the chair, and engage your core gently. Lift one knee up toward the ceiling, as if you are stepping over a high obstacle, then lower it with control. Alternate legs, left, then right. It seems easy, but try to do it without swaying your upper body. Keep your torso perfectly still. This forces your deep abdominal muscles and your hips to work together. This movement is directly translating to your walking stride. By strengthening these hip lifters, you ensure that when you take a step, you are picking your foot up with authority, significantly reducing the risk of tripping over a rug edge or a door threshold. It brings a crispness back to your walk. At this point, you might be noticing a theme. We aren't jumping around, we are focusing on control. If you are finding this approach helpful, it's worth remembering that consistency is far more important than intensity. You don't need to sweat buckets to get stronger, you just need to be diligent. That brings us to number 2, which is perhaps the most functional movement for staying independent at home. This addresses the plop. You know what I mean? That moment when you are sitting down, and for the last few inches, gravity just takes over and you drop into the chair. That loss of control is a sign that the muscles in your hips and glutes, the posterior chain, need some attention. These are the biggest, strongest muscles in your body, and they are responsible for moving you from sitting to standing. We are going to practice sit-back control movement. For this, you start by sitting on the edge of your chair, feet flat. Lean forward slightly at the hips, keeping your back straight. Put your weight into your heels and lift your bottom just an inch or two off the seat. Hovering. Then, and this is the key, slowly lower yourself back down. Don't let gravity win. You want to touch the chair as softly as a feather. If you can't lift off yet, that's okay. Just practice the shift of weight, leaning forward and pressing through your heels, engaging those muscles as if you were about to launch. This exercise retrains your body to handle your own weight. It turns the act of getting out of a chair from a struggle into a smooth, powered movement. It protects your lower back and gives you the freedom to sit anywhere, even on low seats, without worrying if you'll be able to get up again. Finally, we arrive at number 1. This is the exercise that I believe is the most overlooked tool in our arsenal. It's fascinating because if you saw someone doing it, you wouldn't even know they were exercising. It's called an isometric leg press. Here is why it matters. When you lose your balance, you don't have time to do a slow, controlled rep. Your body needs to react instantly. You need to be able to generate tension in your muscles in a split second to catch yourself. Isometric exercises, where you push without moving, train your nervous system to fire those muscle fibers immediately. Here is how you do it. Sit comfortably. Place your feet firmly on the floor. Now, without actually moving, I want you to push your feet into the ground as hard as you comfortably can. Imagine you are trying to leg press the floor away from you. Engage your thighs, your calves. Everything tightens up. Hold that tension. Breathe through it. Don't hold your breath. Count to 10. Then, release. Do you feel that rush of blood, that awakening in the legs? That is your nervous system lighting up. This is incredibly safe because there is no joint movement, no grinding, and no impact. But it is teaching your brain how to access your strength on command. It's like keeping the emergency brakes on your car in perfect working order. You hope you never need them, but if you do, you want them to engage instantly and powerfully. So, you have these 5 tools now. You have the knee extension for your thighs, the heel raise for your ankles, the march for your hips, the sit back for your glutes, and the isometric press for your reaction time. It's a complete package. And the beauty is, you can fit this into your day seamlessly. You can do the heel raises while you're drinking your morning coffee. You can do the leg extensions while you're watching the evening news. You don't need to carve out an hour to go to a facility. You just need to weave these moments of resistance into your daily life. I want to leave you with a thought that I share with everyone I work with. There is a common belief that as we age, we are supposed to become frail, that weakness is inevitable. I want you to reject that idea. The human body is incredibly resilient and adaptable, even in your 70s, 80s, and beyond. It is always listening to the signals you send it. If you send it signals of rest and stillness, it will give you less energy. But if you send it signals of strength, however gentle they might be, it will respond. It will rebuild. It will give you back that feeling of solidity. You have the power to change the trajectory of your health, starting right now, simply by asking your muscles to do a little bit of work. It's not about trying to be 20 again. It's about being the strongest, most capable version of yourself right now. So I invite you to try these movements. Start with 1, see how it feels. Listen to your body, and trust that with a little bit of patience and a little bit of consistency, you can keep walking, standing, and living on your own terms for a very long time to come.